Before we begin, I want you to try something. Look around the room you're in right now. Notice the walls. Notice the objects around you. Notice the sounds in the background. Now ask yourself this: how many things were here a moment ago that you didn't notice until I mentioned them? That's because your brain is doing something extraordinary right now. It's hiding most of reality from you. And the strange part is that the harder you think, the more hidden reality becomes. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the smartest people can miss the most obvious things, why overthinking can make you blind to opportunities, and why your brain is constantly editing reality without your permission. If you're interested in psychology, human behavior, and the hidden mechanisms that control your life, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we explore ideas that change the way you see yourself and the world around you. Now let's begin. Imagine you're walking through a forest. The air is cool. The trees sway gently. Birds are singing somewhere in the distance. Sunlight filters through the leaves. Suddenly, you hear a rustling sound. Immediately, your attention locks onto it. Your eyes scan the area. Your mind starts asking questions. What was that? Was it an animal? Was it danger? As soon as your attention narrows onto the sound, something remarkable happens. The rest of the forest begins to disappear. Not literally, but psychologically, you become less aware of the birds, less aware of the wind, less aware of the sunlight. Your brain has decided that one thing matters more than everything else, and in doing so, it has reduced your awareness of the larger environment. This ability helped our ancestors survive. Thousands of years ago, paying attention to the wrong thing could mean death. The human brain evolved to prioritize certain information while ignoring everything else. Without this filtering system, we would be overwhelmed. Every second, your eyes receive millions of bits of visual information. Your ears collect countless sounds. Your skin detects temperature, pressure, and movement. Your nose picks up scents. Your body constantly sends signals to your brain. If your conscious mind processed all of this at once, you wouldn't be able to function. So, your brain makes a deal. It filters reality. It decides what deserves attention, and it hides the rest. The problem is that what your brain hides is often more important than you think. Psychologists have spent decades studying this phenomenon. One of the most famous experiments in modern psychology revealed just how dramatic this effect can be. Participants were shown a video of people passing basketballs. Their task was simple: count the number of passes made by one team. Most people focused intensely. They carefully tracked every movement. They concentrated as hard as they could. Meanwhile, something bizarre happened. A person wearing a gorilla suit walked directly into the middle of the scene. The gorilla paused, faced the camera, beat its chest, and then walked away. When researchers later asked participants whether they noticed anything unusual, nearly half said no. They never saw the gorilla. Not because they were distracted, not because they looked away. They missed it because they were paying attention. Think about how strange that is. The very act of concentrating caused them to miss something obvious. The more focused they became, the less they saw. This phenomenon became known as inattentional blindness, and it reveals a disturbing truth. Seeing is not the same as looking. You can look directly at something and still fail to see it. In fact, this happens far more often than most people realize. Right now, your brain is constructing a version of reality, not reality itself. A version, a simplified model, a carefully edited experience. Your brain acts like a movie director. It decides what enters the scene, what stays in focus, what gets cut, and what never reaches your awareness at all. Most people assume consciousness works like a camera. They think their eyes capture everything and their brain stores the footage. But neuroscience suggests something very different. Your brain is constantly making predictions. Instead of simply recording the world, it actively guesses what it expects to find. Then it compares those predictions to incoming information. This saves energy. It allows you to navigate the world efficiently. But it also creates blind spots. When your expectations become too strong, you stop noticing information that contradicts them. You begin seeing what you expect to see rather than what is actually there. This is one reason eyewitness testimony is often unreliable. Two people can witness the exact same event and remember it differently. Their brains weren't recording reality like cameras. They were interpreting it through filters. Filters shaped by beliefs, experiences, expectations, and attention. But visual blindness isn't the only type of blindness humans experience. There is another form that may be even more dangerous: mental blindness. This happens when thinking becomes so loud that reality becomes quiet. Have you ever driven somewhere and realized you don't remember most of the trip? You arrived safely. You followed the road. You obeyed traffic signals. Yet your mind was somewhere else entirely. Maybe you were replaying a conversation, thinking about work, planning tomorrow, worrying about the future. Your body was present, but your awareness wasn't. Psychologists call this mind wandering. Research suggests people spend nearly half of their waking lives thinking about something other than what they're currently doing. Half. Think about that. For almost half your life, your attention is somewhere other than the present moment. And when attention leaves the present, perception changes. You stop noticing details. You miss opportunities. You overlook information. You become less connected to reality. This is where overthinking enters the picture. Many people believe thinking more leads to better decisions. Sometimes it does. Careful analysis can be valuable. Reflection can be useful. Planning can improve outcomes. But there comes a point where thinking stops helping and starts interfering. The human mind is excellent at solving problems. Unfortunately, it doesn't always know when to stop. Give it an unanswered question, and it keeps searching. Give it uncertainty, and it keeps analyzing. Give it fear, and it keeps imagining possibilities. The result is a mental loop, a cycle of constant thought. And every thought consumes attention. The more attention consumed internally, the less remains available externally. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack. The heavier it becomes, the slower you move. Thoughts work in a similar way. The heavier your mental load becomes, the less aware you become of your surroundings. Scientists refer to this as cognitive load. When cognitive load increases, attention becomes limited. Awareness shrinks. Perception narrows. The world becomes smaller. This explains why stressed people often overlook obvious solutions. It explains why anxious people miss positive experiences. It explains why overthinkers frequently feel stuck. Their attention has become trapped inside their own minds. And here's where things get even more interesting. The brain doesn't just hide external information. It also hides internal information. Many of your decisions are made before you become consciously aware of them. Experiments in neuroscience have shown that brain activity related to decisions can sometimes be detected moments before people report making a conscious choice. In other words, your brain may begin deciding before you realize a decision is being made. This challenges one of our deepest assumptions, the belief that we are fully aware of our own minds. The truth appears to be much stranger. Much of what happens inside your mind remains invisible to you. Your consciousness sits at the top of an enormous iceberg. Thoughts rise into awareness, but beneath them lies a vast network of unconscious processes directing behavior, preferences, emotions, instincts, patterns, predictions, all operating quietly beneath the surface. And because these processes remain hidden, we often invent explanations after the fact. We believe we know why we did something, why we chose something, why we felt something. But sometimes those explanations are stories our conscious mind creates to make sense of decisions already made. The more researchers learn about the brain, the clearer one fact becomes. Human beings are far less aware than they think they are. Yet, there is another layer to this story. Technology. Never before in history have so many things competed for human attention. Notifications, message, advertisements, videos, news, emails, social media. Every platform wants your attention because attention has become one of the most valuable resources in the world. Companies spend billions of dollars trying to capture it, and every time your attention shifts, your brain pays a price. Studies suggest that frequent interruptions can reduce focus and increase mental fatigue. Your attention becomes fragmented, scattered, divided. You begin switching constantly between thoughts and stimuli. The result is a mind that is simultaneously overloaded and underaware, surrounded by information, yet disconnected from reality. Ironically, many people respond by thinking even more. They try to analyze everything, optimize everything, control everything. But the harder they squeeze reality, the more it slips through their fingers. Because reality isn't something you fully understand through thought alone. It must also be experienced, observed, noticed, felt. This realization appears throughout history. Ancient philosophers spoke about it. Buddhist traditions explored it. Modern psychologists study it. Different cultures use different language. But many arrive at a similar conclusion. There is a difference between thinking about life and experiencing life. One exists inside the mind. The other exists in direct awareness. Most people spend so much time inside their thoughts that they rarely notice the richness of ordinary moments. The sound of rain, the expression on someone's face, the movement of clouds, the rhythm of breathing. Simple things. Yet these details often disappear beneath layers of mental noise. And this creates a paradox. The more obsessed we become with understanding life intellectually, the less connected we may become to life itself. That doesn't mean thinking is bad. Thinking built civilizations. Thinking created science. Thinking sent humans into space. But like any tool, it becomes dangerous when used constantly. A hammer is useful, but not for every situation. Thought is useful, but not every moment requires analysis. Sometimes awareness is more valuable than interpretation. Sometimes observation reveals more than explanation. Sometimes the clearest perception occurs when the mind becomes quiet. Think back to some of the most memorable moments of your life. A breathtaking view, a meaningful conversation, a moment of love, a moment of awe, a moment of complete presence. Chances are you weren't analyzing those experiences while they happened. You were immersed in them. You weren't trapped in thought. You were paying attention. And that's the secret. Attention shapes reality. Whatever receives attention grows. Whatever loses attention fades. The world you experience is largely determined by where your attention goes. If attention remains trapped in worries, life begins to look threatening. If attention remains trapped in regrets, life begins to look disappointing. If attention remains trapped in endless analysis, life begins to look confusing. But when attention expands, something changes. You begin noticing things that were always there. Opportunities, beauty, patterns, connections, possibilities. The world hasn't changed. Your awareness has. And that brings us back to the title of this video. The more you think, the less you see. Not because thought is the enemy, but because attention is limited. Every moment spent absorbed in mental noise is a moment not spent noticing reality. Your brain is filtering information every second, choosing what enters consciousness, choosing what remains hidden. The question is simple. Are you choosing where your attention goes? Or is something else choosing for you? Because the quality of your life is deeply connected to the quality of your attention. And the things you fail to notice may be shaping your future more than the things you see. So today, try an experiment. For the next few minutes after this video ends, put away distractions. Stop analyzing. Stop planning. Stop scrolling. Just observe. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the colors. Notice the details. Notice how much of reality was waiting patiently for your attention. You might discover that the world is far richer than your thoughts about it. And you might realize that what you've been searching for was never hidden. It was simply overlooked. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, subscribe to the channel and join us for more deep dives into psychology, neuroscience, philosophy, and the hidden forces that shape human behavior. Subscribe and leave a comment telling us the last time you were so lost in thought that you missed something obvious. And if this video made you see attention differently, share it with someone who tends to overthink everything. Until next time, Pay attention. You never know what reality is trying to show you.